Hey guys, Hypnotic here. Just want to make a quick video on what Path of Exile 2 can learn from Diablo 4. Hello there, yes. I'm calling because I'm about to share a subjective opinion in a video, and I just want to make sure that my life insurance is up to date. Excellent. That $5 is going to make somebody happy. Now, before I begin, I just want to draw attention to the fact that I know that myself and the Path of Exile community are passionate, for lack of a better word, and I absolutely love Path of Exile for what it is. That being said, I've enjoyed my time on Diablo 4, and if nothing else, it's built my personal hype up for Path of Exile 2 substantially. I'm going to try to be as realistic as I can be and cover areas that I personally feel could take influence from Diablo 4, whether it's because it was done well or because it's 2023 and I just want to right click another portal scroll. I just want to give a quick thank you for the support, likes, subs, etc. that I've received on the videos that I've made. Feel free to comment down below what you'd like to see changed or not changed in Path of Exile 2. It's a controversial topic, so let's get into it. First things first, we're going to talk about the antiquated systems, most notably, as I just mentioned, wisdom scrolls, portal scrolls, scroll fragments, etc. Now these systems, how they are, get them the out of here. We've been identifying items for 25 years and I don't want to keep doing it. I wouldn't drop items identified. I would have them identified upon picking up, and there absolutely should be a town portal button. I don't want to sell a bunch of transmutes to get wisdom scrolls and then use those to buy portal scrolls. It's just a lot of unnecessary steps and you have to do it all the time. Another semi-part of this is materials. How they are in Diablo 4 should be how splinters are. I'm not picking up one splinter anymore. It's not happening. We've all heard of feeling the weight, which has been memed to death. However, I think at minimum you should have stuff drop in at least stacks, maybe stacks of 5. Just having one splinter and having to click that all the time, especially in something like Breach where you're like running around killing stuff and you got to pick up each individual splinter. I'm not a fan of that. Final small thing I want to talk about with loot, class specific loot. Now in Diablo, when you're playing like a sorcerer or a barbarian or a druid, you'll often get drops that are relative to that person. So a sorcerer will get like a wand, a barbarian will get like an axe, etc., etc. Now, I don't think the Path of Exile should go down the route where you find that sort of thing 90% of the time or whatever it is in Diablo 4. However, I wouldn't mind something where it's like, you know, like a 5%, 10%, 15% increase. Now, obviously, with Path of Exile, you know, it's all over the place. We have Marauders with Righteous Fire. We have Sorcerers doing Cyclone. It'd be kind of hard to balance the gear out and, you know, find something for each class that they would find more often than other classes. And, of course, I wouldn't nerf any of the other classes to find that certain gear as well. So it might end up being something that's a little bit difficult to add. Something in Diablo 4 that I like seeing. The next thing I want to go over is accessibility. And this starts with the passive tree. Ooh, this passive tree. This passive tree is the sort of thing that you show your casual friend and they just shake your head at you and go back on TikTok. Now, the general consensus, obviously, is that this is much too overwhelming for someone who's new or starting it. While at the same time being the heart of Path of Exile, this is what makes it fun. Personally, how I would help remedy this, have the passive tree hidden, sort of like a map that you have to unveil. You could check off, you know, reveal the entire passive tree if you can handle it. Just starting out, I think that your starting character area should have a little bubble, and then as you branch out, you get to kind of see what else is on the tree. I think the important thing with accessibility is that you ramp how difficult things get and how overwhelming things get. The end game, path of building, awaken PoE, trade in general, it all starts from the passive tree. From level 2, you can only imagine how many people have opened this tree and just immediately quit the game. I wonder if they'd be able to give us that statistic. Now, the next part of accessibility, obviously, would be the skill gem. Now, explaining links, sockets, support gems, active skill gems, auras, it's very daunting, especially to a new player. Now, obviously, in PoE 2, they're going to do away with the sockets and links as we have them now. I'm hoping that things are introduced in a slower, more explained way. I did play a bit of Ruthless when it was on the alpha, and I kind of liked how the gems felt like that they had some weight to them. I felt the weight of the gems. However, I think that having a better explained system for the gems, or even having like say a set of preset gems, maybe have like lightning arrow, lesser multiple projectiles, and chain in like a set. So then a new player who wanted to play something like that could just take that set of gems and put it in their gear. Sort of like a preset gem arrangement. With regards to accessibility, I believe that the currency should be explained a little bit better. There's so many fragments, shards, orbs, and everything else, and exotic currency now. If you're a brand new player and you've got one of your tabs looking like this, you won't know if you have enough to buy an upgrade, to roll your gear, or put food on the table for your family. Now, of course, this is not taking into account everything else that you'll find. Obviously, when you've played a bit and you find that you enjoy the game, you might buy something like a currency tab, which is obviously mandatory. But while I think that this is the superior system to gold, gold is more accessible for a newer player because the value is in what the gold's worth. Alright, I'm getting PTSD from how tabs used to be without currency tabs, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm thinking about making a comprehensive beginner's guide for Path of Exile before Exilecon and Path of Exile 2. So if that's something you may want to see or to share with somebody else, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Next thing I want to cover is rare modifiers, or in Diablo 4's case, elite modifiers. Now obviously this is still a work in progress from the arch nemesis disaster. Now while things are better, I feel like there are a few things that could be improved though. One of those things is how the modifiers are displayed to you. Now this may have something to do with the fact that when I encounter an elite in Diablo, it tends to last a little bit longer than a rare monster in Path of Exile. Diablo 4, I tend to know what I'm up against. I can see what the modifiers are and I can prepare myself. Certain mods should never be combined. If you've seen a Soul Eater, Life Regen, Life Leech monster, you know what I'm talking about. Those sort of combinations is what makes people not want to engage with monsters longer than they have to, because they've got that fear in the back of their head that they're going to get screwed over. I think it's pretty obvious the way that Path of Exile patches have gone down since around Expedition League, that they're trying to slow the game down. And personally, I enjoy the fast-paced nature of Path of Exile, and lots of other people do too. So I'm hoping that they find a good middle ground in that department. Another major thing I want to touch on is the campaign. Should we do it once or no? Now there are very divisive opinions on this. Now it's obvious to me and PoE community that repeating the campaign is an important part of the game. Some would say almost as important as the endgame. Now while I am against, just doing the campaign once and never having to do it again, my own personal opinion is that every new league we are required to do the campaign once, and then if we were to make alternate characters, we would not have to do it again. Now my solution for the passive skill points and quests would be that you would receive those from NPCs after you've reached certain level thresholds. As far as what you would do to level, whether it be endless delve, some sort of adventure mode, heist, I don't necessarily have a concrete answer for that, but I would definitely like to see an option that is not, hey, you make 5 characters a league, you've got to run the campaign 5 times. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that want to make more than one character, but because they have to run through the 10-act campaign again, they choose not to and go play something else. Being able to do the campaign once and then on alternate characters you don't have to for that particular season would keep people around and keep them playing longer. As somebody who had to play 3 acts in 3 different difficulties back in the day, everything is an improvement as far as that goes. Final thing I want to touch on briefly is dynamic events, timed events, etc. Personally enjoyed this in Diablo 4, doing the Hell Tides, the Legion, the world bosses. It really helped to break up the monotony of doing nightmare dungeons or helping my slow casual friends get through the game. There's people that hop on maybe half an hour a day. If they had like a timed event or something like that, it would give them a small goal to achieve in the limited time that they have to play. An idea I briefly thought about would be to have like the memory system, but have it sort of automated. So when you open your atlas during the day, maybe there'll be like a memory already planned out and you can just do that memory and then that's all you have to do. It's a way to kind of serve you a bite size of content so that, you have something to do when you get on, something that you can work towards. I do understand the complaint where, this isn't an MMO and, maybe Blizzard thinks that Diablo 4 is an MMO, but we all know that it's not. And obviously PoE is not an MMO, but I think something timed in the game would be fun instead of just waiting for events that come right before the end of a league. You could also make it sort of a social thing and have everybody have the same timed event. In reality, there's plenty of things they could do, and I kind of hope that they come up with something to that effect. Just some things that I feel like Path of Exile 2 could learn from Diablo 4. I am very excited for the game after playing Diablo 4 and he's seeing all the teasers for Path of Exile 2. Again, leave a comment below and let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my points. And let me know what you think should be added. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not budging on that portal scroll thing. No more scrolls. Alright, catch you on the next video.